My name's Alyssa Castellanos, and I am about to be 21, so right now I'm 20, and I am from Stockton, California. It was a very traumatic childhood because my parents were very on and off drugs. They were always like domestic violence, they were always fighting. So it was like, I would say a little bit of both, and then we were always like having housing situations, so we didn't really have the best childhood. I would say the challenges they faced was really worrying about so much about each other that they forgot about the children. So that's why I think they went on drugs, because one was accusing one of cheating, and then one was accusing one of like being on drugs, and then they were always on one, and then they were always just fighting. So they assumed that they were always cheating on each other because they were always high, and yeah. I witnessed child abuse because my mom was mentally ill. She had mental health issues, and so did my bigger sister. So when they both would like clash, it was just like so much abuse, because my big sister can take so much that she would just go and go, and then that's when my mom could only take so much. She would break down and start abusing her, and then after a while it would be like, oh, okay, nothing happened. My dad was in and out of jail half of our life, so he was always like, not, I don't want to say he wasn't the best father, but he didn't make the best decisions. So he was always in and out of jail. And then once my mom and dad actually split up for good, we did get taken away from the system at the age of like 11. I was into foster care from 11, and I aged out actually. As a young kid, I think it sucks because you don't have a say in anything. So it was probably like, and I hated it at first, but as you really get older, they do end up helping you. Like once you turn 18, there's so many benefits out there, and I always tell each foster kid that's on the run, like, just turn yourself in before you turn 18, because there's so many benefits and they do help you. You know, you feel alone, but it does end up becoming a successful story once you're in it. My mom had an addictive personality, and my dad, I think what kept him using was my mom, because he stayed with her, and staying with her, she kept bringing him down in a sense. Like you could tell when she was on the come down, and then you could tell when he was. So, and then I think they both kept focusing on each other so much that they did forget about us, to where they just focused on using and getting high all the time. She crossed the border like when she was 2 or 3 years old, I believe, and she swam with my grandpa through the border from Mexico to United States. And then my dad, he was actually abandoned at a park with his newborn sister, and the cops like had to pick him up and take him, and basically his grandma and grandpa adopted him. So he never met his real mom. For my mom personally, she just always had hatred towards her family, I think, because she was the oldest, so they treated her very strict versus the other ones. And with my dad, he just never really had his mom around. He had his dad, but his dad was mentally ill as well. And both of my parents have mental health issue problems. Like you can kind of like see it, they're bipolar, and then they like when they just break down, that's it. Like there's no controlling it. You know, I think I would wish I was more around, like instead of always trying to avoid like the situations and leave the house, because I would always try to go to my aunts or my grandma's just to get away. I think I wish I was more around, because my little brother, I feel like I seen a lot more with him, but I feel like he stayed. He never got to go because he was the baby. So my mom didn't let us take him. So I think I'd want to stay more around him, just so that I was able to be like, oh, okay, like just, be there for him, because he probably went traumatically crazy with them as a young 1-year-old. There's 5 of us in total. So my older brother, yes, he was never in the system. He was already aged out. My older sister, who's mentally ill here and there, she's mentally ill in Arizona, so we don't really speak as much. My little sister is on the run, 17 and a half, so we haven't talked to her in like over a year now. And then our little brother, we haven't talked to him in 7 years because of his guardians. They don't believe in him talking to his bio family. But I have hope that one day, once he gets older, he will seek out to see us, and we still talk about him, celebrate birthdays for him and everything. I think the best thing I learned from them was really accepting my past, because they really did talk about, that's really what we talked about, was our past. And it really came to me, it was a realization, like, dang, like, they would always ask us, like, what would you learn as from your parents' mistakes? And now that I'm about to be a first-time mom, it really does take into me, like, oh, dang, like, like, to really not make those mistakes, and that they really were there for us, and that they basically made us realize our past isn't our future. I think it was hearing everyone's, because they did go around, and hearing the teacher's experience with their children, I think that gave me a better perspective on being a parent for them, because it's like it's not just the kids that are in the class, it's actually hearing it from the teachers and their experience. And I was like, oh shoot, okay, like it gives me a more better perspective because they went through some stuff, and some of them have like 5, one of them have 4. So I think hearing their stories kind of gave me a better perspective in life. Like not everything's gonna be creams and sugar. It's gonna get rocky, but it'll get better if you let it get better.